Hello everybody and welcome to our YouTube character profile upload for Tina McIntyre. We've done her this week because she got a name check in this week's Coronation Street and that's about all you need.
She got a shout out.
She got a shout out. From,
shout out to Tina.
It was Peter, wasn't it? He mentioned her.
What did he say? She was right
said,
good shag.
Yeah, something like that.
What did he say? Do you remember Tina? She got bludgeoned to death. Here's a sad little trough of flowers that nobody waters in tribute.
Basically, they said that, yeah. So we've re-uploaded her character profile, and this comes from episode 5 of Conversation Street. Yes, that's right, episode 5.
That's
we were
crazy
just
to
young
me.
wee podcasters. Didn't really know what we were doing, and if you listen to the next 9 minutes of audio, also very, very serious and somber.
We sound so bored. And really this is serious. This is serious. This is Coronation Street. This is history.
Yeah.
We're making it right now, so we apologise for being po-faced.
Yeah, we recorded this back in September 2012, which was, a month after we'd started the podcast.
And we were like, who should we do to get the punters in? The most popular female character, Tina McIntyre.
Yeah, basically. And it was when she was going through her surrogacy thing. She just agreed to carry Izzy and Gary's baby. So
what larks.
Yeah, we'll just pause for a second, and it literally isn't much more than that. So you can hear us talking all about Tina, and then we'll be back on the other side to catch you up with what she got up to next.
She died.
Spoiler! We wanted to do a short this week because we knew that the episode discussion would go on for long. So we chose Tina, who's been a very big character this week. She's been in it all the way through. I thought she's not been in it very long, not much to talk about there. But actually, she's had quite a couple of big storylines since she first came in. But she's played by Michelle Keegan, of course. Character was born 18th of February 1991. Father Joe McIntyre, mother Anna McIntyre. She first appeared in Corrie on the 7th of January 2008, and she has been in nearly 600 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really funny when you look back on about how a character was introduced compared to how they are now, and looking back on the relationships that they've had. So the reason that she was introduced, Tina, was to be David.
Yeah, at the time, David was total wild child. He was turning into a bit of a villain, and the Corrie bosses wanted to soften him up a bit. They wanted to they wanted to show his nice side, so they brought Tina in to be his girlfriend.
And she was so popular that they've kept her on, and also included other characters.
Yeah, developed her. Brought Joe in as her dad. So when she first appeared in 2008, she was 16. One of her first scenes, or maybe her very first scene, was arguing with Gail at the medical centre.
Yeah, when Gail used to have a proper job.
Yeah.
Instead of just hanging around the bar at the bistro.
Bottoming the bar.
Yeah.
David liked the fact that Tina was arguing with his mum. Bullshit, yeah, he liked that, so he starts dating her. She moves in with the Platts fairly soon. And before you know it, she's pregnant.
She's pregnant, that's right. It's not going to be her first child that she has.
No, I'd forgotten about the abortion storyline completely.
Does anyone know that she was pregnant, or did she have an abortion before it was shown? She must have had an abortion very early.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So is it going to come out?
Yeah, does Tommy know?
No, probably not.
And is it going to affect the surrogacy?
No, nobody's mentioned this, so it could be an interesting avenue for it to go down.
If script writers indeed remember.
If they listen to this podcast, they might remember.
Yeah. So anyway, she aborted this baby with Gail's support behind David's back.
Yeah.
And then when David found out, he pushed Gail down the stairs. That was a memorable episode. And then he went on his rampage. At that time, Joe was brought in, started dating Gail, much to David and Tina's disgust. At the time, she was working in the kebab shop in the cabin. And it's been quite nice seeing the relationship develop between her and Rita. Rita's been a bit like a gran to her.
Yeah. So she was on and off again with David.
Yeah, when he pushed Gail down the stairs.
Didn't react well to that.
No, so she dumped him after that, and then when they were back again together, he got quite jealous and he was spying on her emails because he thought that she was seeing an old boyfriend behind his back. But they on again, off again, and in 2009. She refused to lie in court from him after he'd punched Gary. He was arrested, and he wanted Tina to say that Gary had thrown the first punch.
Right.
And she refused to do it.
Yeah, Gary had been flirting with Tina, so Izzy better watch out.
She was also going out with Jason around that time. They started the property developing together, or buying places to do
Oh
up.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, around about that time as well, Joe, Tina's dad, started getting addicted to painkillers. He'd had a back injury from his
Yeah,
around. Do you remember when Joe raided the medical centre?
Yes.
And he was pulling out all the cupboards and everything. That was quite cool. That was dramatic. And David was hiding his painkillers back at home as well, because David was trying to persuade Joe to get Tina to go back with him, but he couldn't. So David started
he's blackmailing her.
Yeah, he was blackmailing her. In 2009 at Christmas, that was when Nick was brought back in as this mysterious man in the bar, and as viewers we weren't supposed to know who it was because of the new actor obviously playing him. She had a snog with Nick, drama, the brother of David, and then not long after that, early 2010 was when Joe died. They went off to the, do you remember?
Yeah, they went off
to the Lake District. Joe was going to fake his own death, wasn't he?
Okay, yeah.
But he actually ended up killing himself, knocking himself out into Lake Windermere.
Would you say that was a very successful attempt, or?
Yeah, but in the end, Tina started blaming Gail for. She thought that Gail had murdered her, and Gail and Tina had been on fairly good terms up until then. But Tina was totally hated Gail, despised her after that.
Yeah.
Later on in the year, that's when. She not long after that she became housebound. Do you remember when she locked herself up in the flat for weeks?
Yeah.
And nobody knew where she was. She thought she was away, but Graham then got a bit closer to her, and because he was lovely,
he was going up
Graham,
and bringing her food and trying to make her look after herself and everything.
And then they got closer together and started seeing each other. David obviously didn't like this.
What? David didn't appreciate all the help that Graham
his old
gave.
cellmate getting together with her. So David then tried to get back with Tina. He's kind of, do you remember, he pinned her down onto the sofa. She accused him of attempting to rape her. Do you remember that?
I don't know why Izzy thinks she's unstable. These things seem perfectly reasonable.
2011 was the storyline with Sheen, Tina's friend, who needed to marry Graham so that she wouldn't get deported. That storyline isn't seen as one of the best storylines by fans, I remember. So
Graham ends up going off with her.
Yeah, Graham got married to her, but oops, it turns out that they actually did quite like each other, and
that was nice.
Yeah, I really like Graham. I'm really disappointed that he didn't stay. He was really
Graham's
funny.
Of the same stable as Chesney and Kirk and Tyrone.
Lovable, funny,
simple-minded, little chappies.
Yeah,
everyone wants to give him a hug.
Yeah. So Tina was single again. She had a few dates with Tommy, Dr. Matt. Do you remember when she was? She sort
of felt she wasn't good enough for Doctor.
That was funny for Gemma and I watching it though, because there was the scene where Tina went to the bistro with Matt and all his other doctor mates, and we've got a friend who's a doctor, and it's quite funny when we're around with his friends and they're all talking medicine bits, and we go totally over our heads.
They're talking about.
So we did feel for Tina a little bit there, but since then she's been seeing Tommy, and
look how well that's gone for her.
Yeah, and we're in the position that she's in now. So
she's an award-studded young actress.
She is. I've got a list of some of the awards that she's won. Right back when she came in, she got a couple of Best Newcomer awards at the British Soap Awards, at the TV Quick TV Choice Awards. She was Best Newcomer as well. And since then,
she's moved into the realm of Sexiest Female, and she won the award for Sexiest Female in 2009 from the British Soap Awards and Inside Soap Awards, 2010 from the British Soap Awards, 2011 from the British Soap Awards and the Inside Soap Awards, and 2012 from the British Soap Awards.
Yeah, good-looking lady.
But she's also moved into the realm of being an actress now, because she's won Best Soap Actress at the TV Choice Awards.
Yeah, that was just this past week. I think that must have meant quite a lot to her, because it's all very well getting an award for being sexy, but if you're an actress and you want to be recognised for how you act and not how you look.
Yes. Yeah, these Sexiest Female awards are a bit patronising.
Meaningless, aren't they?
Patronising is the word that I would use. So they're finally noticing that she's flapping her lips around and noises are coming out of them. She's not just standing there and looking pretty. So hopefully that will be positive reinforcement for the scriptwriters too, to give her more storylines that will challenge her.
I have to say, used to like Tina more than I do at the moment. I thought she was really good when she was David. I thought they worked well
With David.
with David. That was great storylines. I thought Joe was really interesting. But since she's started dating Tommy, I've not found her that interesting. I just don't
it's
like
quite
Tommy,
morbid,
really.
isn't it? They're so miserable all the time. They're never happy.
No.
And they're both too good looking. I just find them a bit dull. But I tell you one thing, if I could change one thing about Tina, I'd get rid of those bloody earrings. I hate those hoop earrings. They do make her look very chubby.
Yeah.
If I was Izzy, I would definitely insist upon the removal of those earrings, just in case it affects my unborn child.
Right. That'll do for character profile. There we go, Tina. You didn't realise back then, Tina, just how little life left there was in you, because
if we need to hold on for another 3 years, we could have done and dusted this.
I know. I hate it when that happens.
Away.
We've had that happen a couple of times in this podcast where we've done some character profile and then within 12 months the character's left and we're like, oh, do we do them again? Do we do a catch up? I don't know what to do. Well, finally, 8 years later, we're catching you all up just in case you're not sure about what happened to Tina next. I'm sure there might be some people listening who didn't, weren't watching Coronation Street back then, never even heard of Tina McIntyre.
Do you know who?
So, she didn't necessarily have the best of lives after the whole surrogacy thing. So later in 2012, she gets broken up with by Tommy. And I thought at first this was the time when Tommy left, but she still had another 12 months of him. But he couldn't cope with the stress of his girlfriend being a surrogate to Gary and Izzy's baby, so he did one.
Well, it's one thing buying pickles and ice cream for the woman who's incubating your baby, but not someone else's baby.
Yeah, and he's not the only one that gets fed up with the whole surrogacy thing as well, because Tina gets a little bit annoyed with the Armstrongs and the Windasses basically trying to take over.
Tell her what to do. She's like, if I want to smoke and do cocaine and drink, it's my body, my choice.
Happen.
My body, my choice.
I'll fake tan as much as I want. It doesn't come out on the babies. I don't use Sunny Delight. What happened in 2013, Gemma? Remind us.
Well, I don't know whether Gary tries to kid Tina.
Oh, I've got my notes. Kiss.
Oh, I thought
Gary tries to kiss Tina because he's got his baby inside her.
I was thinking that he tried to kill her because he's quite like that now, isn't he?
He is. He was not such a wrong un back then.
It wasn't kid. It wasn't kill. It was kiss.
He tried to kiss Tina, and she's like,
his
"Oh, get her off."
His hormones were all aflutter.
Yeah.
And his caveman instincts told him that he had to woo her. Yeah, I remember this. Wasn't there the scene when they had to go to the class,
there was the
birthing
antenatal
class,
thing, yeah.
and poor Izzy couldn't get in.
I know, and it's not
really
very often
bad.
that I feel like any level at all of sympathy for Izzy,
yeah,
because she can be a bit annoying. But I thought that Shirley did a fantastic job in those scenes where Izzy was feeling very much left out.
Yeah.
Of the whole "I'm going to be a mum soon."
She's like literally left out of the room.
Yeah.
So Tina gives birth in May to the baby, and she decides to keep him.
Typical soap thing
She's
to
like,
do.
Why not? I'll call him Joe, baby Joe.
After me dad.
Not many babies get called Joe straight out of the womb, do they? Well, normally it's like Joseph or something, or Joey or something diminutive and cute. Not like baby Joe.
Yeah. Joe's a grandpa's name.
Yeah, she eventually gives him up after realising that that's actually a bit of a git thing to do to somebody.
Yeah.
And also
Gary and Izzy really wanted this child that she'd been brewing away inside of her.
She saw how much Pampers cost and she's not having none of that nonsense. Gary and Izzy take the baby back. They say, Joe's a silly name. Let's call him Jake. And so Tommy comes back. He's like, now you're not up the duff. I think I'll take you back. As long as you can get that bod back. They get back together again. Now, Kylie and David have a bit of a tantrum, and Kylie throws David out because he's getting mad at Nick, and he has this vendetta and tries to kill him.
She'd found out that David had orchestrated the van crash, the car crash, and that led to Nick's brain injury.
Personality.
So Kylie's having none of this.
Improvement.
Chucks David out, and he goes and
stays with Tina.
Tommy doesn't like this.
Tommy's like, I'm going to mysteriously disappear and never mention me again.
No. Do mention me again.
Mention me continuously.
Mention me continuously for the next few months, saying, where's Tommy, where's Tommy?
Awkwardly mention me.
Yeah, this was Chris Fountain leaving. for his extracurricular activities.
How come every other time we talk about somebody leaving the soap, you say they got fired? The one time somebody actually got fired off the soap, you're like, well, they just left. He just left. I was only called.
He got fired
for talking about women in a disrespectful manner.
Rapping.
Rapping.
In universe, he went off to Ibiza or somewhere.
He dumps her by text, and Tina throws David out. Then she has one scene with Peter, and the next thing you know, they're having a snog on his and Carla's wedding day.
Oh God,
and shagging it up.
That. It was that had been.
I really hated Tina.
Leaked in the press beforehand, or publicised, or whatever. I don't know. And like, there's going to be a steamy affair between Tina and Peter.
Oh, great! Nobody wanted this.
And literally, these two characters, I don't think I'd ever had a scene together. And then I remember her sidling up to him in the Rovers one evening. It was like, here we go. Here's this story started. Yeah. And it felt like 5 minutes later when she was all over him.
Grace.
Yes, affair ahoy. And that's what led into 2014, Tina's final year in the programme, and indeed on this planet.
What killed her.
Mm-hmm. So she disappears off to London for a few weeks at the beginning of 2014, then comes back. What for?
Yeah.
She affair, stress or something, I don't know. She comes back, carries on seeing Peter, has a bit of a false alarm pregnancy scare in April, and then carries on, with gusto. Seeing Peter behind Carla's back.
That was a close shave. Let's not do that again.
So she decides in May that she wants to move away with Peter.
To Portsmouth, perhaps.
By this stage, Steve and Liz and Rob Donovan, Carla's brother, all knew about the affair. So it was, I think, Carla... Who was Carla? Was it Peter and Carla's engagement party? I forget who was going out with her.
Peter and Carla got married in 2013.
Did they? 2013.
2013.
This is
Peter and Tina.
Oh yeah.
Snogging on his and Carla's wedding day. Now, to be fair, we don't actually remember if they got married on that day or not, because just because you have a wedding day, just like when you have a pregnancy, it's a 50-50 as to whether you're actually gonna.
I can't remember. I've not written this down. They've been married and divorced so many times.
It's irrelevant at this point.
Tina goes to the Rovers one evening and discovers that Carla is pregnant. This was Tracy and Rob's engagement party. I remember this now. So, yeah, Tina finds out that Carla's pregnant because I think they tried to upstage the engagement party by announcing this. Tina's obviously pretty miffed by that because she was hoping to run away with Peter. So she goes back to her flat. Peter is in hot pursuit. She says, I'm going to tell everybody about our sordid affair, and he leaves. And then Rob comes over the flat, and Tina says, well, not only am I going to expose the affair, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
I'm also going to report you and Tracy for selling knockoff gear.
I'm going to report you for that fake copy of Windows 98 that you've had.
This is when they had the Barlow's Buys pawn shop just below, wasn't it?
Pawn shop.
Porn.
Yeah.
They go onto the balcony.
And he says, you better not tell no one where those copies of Atari's E.T. come from. If you do, I'll push you off this balcony. And she's like, you won't even dare.
He pushes her off the balcony.
I can't believe you've done that.
And she survives the drop. And
I've got too much hairspray to die from that.
She must landed on a hairspray helmet.
Do you like my accent of Tina?
Yes. And she
I'm going
survives.
to tell everyone.
He goes down, and she's going. She kind of. This was a great moment, wasn't it? Because we knew beforehand that she was going to get pushed off. Yeah, we knew that she
was going to die, and it was set up as find out who killed Tina.
Yes.
And then she gets dropped off the side of the building, and she lands, and then she's like, I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, she was.
What?
She was, and then he
I'm going to tell everyone, Rob.
Then he bludgeons her with a crowbar or something that he just happens to find at the building yard skip.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of nice weapons to pick. I mean, really, honestly, it's very disrespectful to Tina to put this kind of sad little tribute to her outside the building where she was bludgeoned to death. We're still full of choice weapons should anybody want to enact the crime on anybody else.
Do you remember Tina McIntyre's last words?
I was born Gobby.
Yes. It's not very often, I think, that you remember characters' last words, isn't it? I don't know why that one stuck so much. And doesn't he then say, you'll die, Gobby? And that's when he whacks her with a crowbar. And I'm pretty sure then it transitions very neatly to somebody sticking a knife or something into a big joint of beef in the Rovers. That was a great moment. Loved it. That was Britain's Got Talent week, wasn't it? I'm sure, 2014.
And boy, do we.
Anyway,
she's still not dead then, because Carla finds her. Tina gets carted off to hospital. I remember lying on the hospital bed, draped in...
like a Lilo out of Fifth Element, or whatever that character's name was.
Yeah, just so she can be sexy, Corrie's sexiest corpse for one final time. She's got swelling on the brain, but she dies
she doesn't need
a few days later. Sad. And not only was there a who's gonna kill Tina mystery before she was killed, they also had a kind of whodunit afterwards. Obviously, we the viewer knew, but all the Corrie residents were throwing accusations around for months afterwards, and various people are suspected and arrested.
And it's all the same blimmin' people that are...
But it's basically a repeat of what's going on at the moment. I'm sure if Adam had been around there, he'd been suspected as well.
Not as nice wearing earrings.
Rob is trying to pin it on Peter, who's eventually convicted of it. He goes off to prison, and this is when he meets up with old Jim McDonald.
The eternal scapegoat.
I know he is, isn't he? Poor boy. Rob eventually confesses to Carla, who tells him, "You really should hand yourself in, mate, because Peter is
getting in trouble.
He's in the big house because of you." And he's like, "Nah, you're all
right.
He's making hooch in a toilet. Quite like my freedom, thanks, sister." So she calls the police on him. He does a run for it and contacts Tracy, girlfriend Tracy, remember, who agrees to meet up with him.
And don't forget that Tracy believes, really, of all the people that she's ever had a relationship with, that Rob
is
the love of her life.
They were great together.
So I know that lots of people really don't like Tracy and think that she deserves to be punished because she wasn't punished properly for killing Charlie Stubbs. But I just think the fact that she did this to the love of her life shows that there is definitely a moral compass inside Tracy.
Yeah, she shops him to the police.
Yeah.
And he's sentenced to 25 years in prison.
25 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, can we do 7? Can I come out in 7?
Well, he did make a couple of returns to the show.
Stop escaping, and we might let you out for this behaviour. This isn't
a Rob character profile, but it's all about Tina's murder, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so that was it for
Tina.
And I remember that her exit being... there was just a huge run-up to it, because it was spring 2013 when Michelle Keegan announced that she was leaving the programme.
Yeah.
So it was like over a year later that she left. So we were speculating for all that time about how they're going to get rid of her.
And as we alluded to in our character profile that we just read out to you in the most bored manner possible, Michelle Keegan had won year after year after year sexiest female soap star. So Coronation Street was not very keen, really, to let her go. But once they realised they could kill her off and make a massive splash in the publicity for it, I think they just put all their chips in, didn't they? Because they really had nothing else.
Well, they also got rid of the Britain's Sexiest Soap Star Awards, like around that time.
I think it was pretty much as soon as she left, they were like, "Let's not do this anymore."
Yeah. Well, it was either that way around, or it was, "We're not doing this award anymore," and Corrie going, "Don't need you anymore,
sorry,
Michelle."
It was incredibly embarrassing to have that category. I'm glad they got rid of it.
So her exit was confirmed in April 13. The whodunit plot was confirmed in October 2013. So this is a good half a year before they did it. They told us way too far in advance.
I heard that they planned this in advance.
But they don't use it. They don't have to tell us this far in advance.
No, I know. I think the thing is about it is very often, especially with a high-profile actress as she was, because Michelle Keegan went straight into loads and loads of commercial deals. Like, she went straight to working with Lipsy, which is a clothing company here in the UK. So she immediately launched herself into the business of being a celebrity. And you're quite limited on what you can do when you're in Corrie, I think. So she wanted to get straight into making money as much as she could, as soon as she could after Coronation Street. And so they had to admit that she was leaving. And
so that she could line up her
next she could line up her stuff. And so the only thing for it really was to make a big deal about how she went, rather than the fact she was going at all.
Yeah, and they had a cool... They, like you said earlier, they said that she was going to be killed off, and they lined up 4 suspects, didn't they? Which was Carla, Rob, Tracy and Peter. And
they filmed them all.
They filmed them all and played them all before the episode aired as well. Did they do it online or something?
Yeah.
Release them online? So over, I think it was the course of 4 evenings, we could watch these 4 alternate exits, and we had to guess.
6 years ago, we actually did have video on the internet. which is really good.
And so we had to guess which one of them was the actual ending that it was going to be. And I remember at the time you saying it was definitely not going to be the Rob one because you thought the sound quality was bad on that.
I know, this is my story about how you can't listen to anything I say.
I can't remember who we thought it would end up being.
I was absolutely certain of all of them. It definitely wasn't Rob because it was filmed in such a bad way. But obviously it was filmed differently to the rest of them because it was the one they were using.
I wonder whether, like, looking back now, it was obviously going to be Rob out of these four because he was the most disposable of the characters, or do we just think that because we can't imagine them getting rid of Carla, Tracy or Peter?
Unfortunately, with Coronation Street now, they have worked themselves into a corner where the stakes can never be high again. Because now we've got the Adam one, even if we had the Tina one now, you'd say, well, if it is Carla, I wonder how they're going to get her out of it, you know? Rather than saying, gosh, it can't be Carla because she'll have to go to prison. Coronation Street it just seems to worm its way out of serious consequences for the main characters that it wants to protect.
Yeah, I can't remember at the time whether we knew that Mark Bayliss was leaving.
I doubt we did,
but
otherwise we wouldn't have.
Yeah, but I suppose
we would have guessed it would be him.
It's a shame, really, and the fact that he was given 25 years in prison means that we're not going to have the character back. Because
I don't know why you keep saying this.
Well, you know.
Why are you so sure of all the things that soap operas fanny around with that they would never mess around with the British judicial system?
It's a shame because he and Tracy did make a really cracking couple, I thought.
Yeah,
I do like Tracy and Steve together.
No, I love Tracy and Steve together, but you can't deny there was a bit of chemistry there.
There was chemistry. They were a good match for each other.
She just loves a man called Rob. One down, one to go.
Yeah. So that was it for Tina McIntyre. There was a farewell Tina programme put on ITV a couple of days after she copped it.
I think it's really strange how massive Tina was and now how little people really seem to talk or think about her.
I know. She hasn't gone down in Corrie history the same way as
some other people that weren't even in it for as long.
But then equally, I mean, how much do people talk about Karen MacDonald now?
Who?
What you know?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I thought you were just pretending you didn't know Karen MacDonald.
Karen MacDonald.
People still talk about Raquel.
Yeah, Raquel. I was thinking of Raquel because Raquel wasn't actually in it for very long.
No.
And Raquel was
and Becky. I don't even know whether
I'm not sure. I think also the other thing is I think Michelle Keegan's in some really big shows, but
she's gone on to do this Our Girl thing where she plays Corporal Georgie Lane, and I think she's
what was that on? ITV or something or BBC.
I can't remember. It was on a terrestrial channel, but she's been doing that for like 4 years worth, and I think she did her last series of it last year, and she got an award for it. Soldiers.
Doing what?
Fighting.
Who?
Enemies. I don't know. I've never seen an episode of it, but apparently she's quite good at it because she got nominated for TV Choice Award every year since 2017, and she won it in 2018. She's also done Brassic on Sky One alongside Jude Riordan.
Yes.
Who plays Sam Blakeman. So
she plays Erin Croft.
Yes.
And this is the thing. I think I don't know what our girl was on. But because it's on Sky One, it kind of feels very divorced from television in general because Sky is so separate, isn't it? From we don't have Sky. I don't know anything that's on Sky anymore.
No, I've got no idea. Anyway, so she's doing
like
all
what
right
I mean
for
to say,
herself.
like if she was in ITV shows or BBC shows, I don't know. I think that I'd feel she was higher profile, even though probably Sky One is, a more prestigious.
I don't know whether she's higher profile than we realise. Yeah, I don't know how popular Our Girl was.
Once you swim out of our little pond, we don't know where you are or what you're up to.
No.
You could be the biggest whale in the ocean. And
but she was certainly a huge asset for Coronation Street to lose. She was Stella's best barmaid, and
beautiful.
But I did think that she was being overused by the end of her time.
I think we thought she was overrated.
Yeah, I said it in the original character profile that I liked her a lot more when she first came in, and she was just a bit more, a bit more common, a bit more down to earth. The character I'm talking about. She's very
kind of
girl
abrasive.
next door type, it felt like the character got a bit too big for her boots. And was overused.
She was really young as well for all this stuff that she got
Yeah.
into. I liked how much how much investigation was going on after the murder. We had the thing with like the bracelet. Where's the bracelet? Steph was her. Steph was her
Steph was her
roommate.
flatmate, wasn't she? The last time we saw Tina was on Steph's phone. I remember she had a yellow Windows phone.
Aww.
There were videos of Tina McIntyre dancing around on, which was on Michelle Keegan's last day on set that they filmed that. So I remember Rob hiding the. He hid the crowbar under a bridge somewhere. It carried on. There was a good, 3-4 months of quite gripping aftermath.
Yeah, Rob darkly skulking in the shadows.
Yeah.
And everyone blaming Peter.
Yeah. But
as usual.
Yeah, so now she's gone, and I know
I
supposedly never to be mentioned again, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think she's been. I don't know.
I don't know whether she's going down as one of Corrie's greatest, but
she was massive
did all right
in
the
it for like about 6 years. She was in it.
Just goes to show that even the the most prolific of characters,
I think people
can
remember.
Be fleeting once they go.
People remember.
That's why some characters don't want to ever leave.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Like I think people remember Tina.
Yeah,
but I don't think. I don't know how much.
I
think it's because she didn't have a family on the street because her dad fell in the lake.
Yeah, you're right.
When you don't have a family, you haven't got anybody to stick your face on the mantelpiece, have you? Like we've got all the people.
That's very true, actually. Very true.
We'll never forget bloody Sinead, will we?
No,
she's always
not well done,
floating around Ken's.
Well, have you seen that Ollie's already made his way onto Ken's mantelpiece of?
This is my cabinet of death.
It is basically. It's got Uncle Albert. It's got Deirdre. It's got Blanche, and now Ollie joining the ranks.
Oh
Susan.
My God.
Yes, Ken survives. Anyway,
and he's like, Peter, can you give me your photo, please?
Yeah. You take a nice one now. Just in case, because I haven't got any other ones of you recently. You wipe the blood off your nose. Right.
I've only got one of you pre-2000.
I think
2000.
I think we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
I think we finished talking about Tina McIntyre. I hope you enjoyed that.
Mean about her.
No, I thought that Tina was a very important character at the time.
There's nobody like her now. The closest person they have to her is Gemma, unfortunately. Like a bolshy,
Gemma's a lot more abrasive.
Yeah, bolshy, like outspoken girl. But I don't think there are very many young women who are mouthy and very, petite and attractive. Without wishing to be too mean to Gemma, but Tina was the sex symbol for Coronation Street for that age bracket.
You're right. Yeah, that's a very good
There's
point.
no
actually.
Sex symbol for young girls in Korea because we've had so many, and then like a mass exodus.
I could have seen somebody like Bethany Platt taking on that role. She just didn't quite get there.
Bethany was always very sweet, and because she had her trauma that she was dealing with. I don't think there's anybody like that.
Tina had a bit of trauma, didn't she?
I know, but
Dad dying and everything.
You moaning about...
Maybe we'll have maybe Kelly can be the new Tina.
Oh,
also Dad dying.
Yeah, don't tell her though, she doesn't know yet.
Oh yeah, secret. Right, thank you for listening, everybody, if you've stuck with us for this long.
We've managed to double the length of our Tina McIntyre
at least.
Character profile, so I think we've done her fair tribute.
Indeed.
Because it's not the quality, it's the quantity. That's what we always say on Conversation Street.
And hopefully we'll seem a little bit more interested and excited to talk about her now than we did in episode 5.
Bye. Bye.